This is the KhoodeelaarTV television channel being broadcast on the internet under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Editions. This is timed at 01:10 hours GMT on Tuesday, 30th of April 2024. We are continuing to focus on Hamza Yusuf. Hamza Yusuf is being condemned, derided, berated, belittled in the Daily Mail, in a front page trailer piece byline to Andrew Neil. Now, Andrew Neil's piece describes Hamza Yusuf as Hamza useless. Remember what the others have said. Hamza Yusuf has been described by London-based commentators as Hamza useless. This is all based on racism, not based on Hamza Yusuf comparative performance. Whatever his decision implies, decision to scrap the deal with the Scottish Greens, Hamza Yusuf most certainly has not done anything by a long comparison, anything as bad as Alex Salmon, or indeed, but because the racists have been in control of the commentary, the racists have called Nicola Sturgeon more credible than Hamza Yusuf has been. That's a lie. Nicola Sturgeon is a liar, is racist and stupider than she has been identified as. It was Sturgeon's stupidity that actually repeatedly, persistently placed herself in comparison with the English counterparts, the English-controlled political establishment. And that was because Sturgeon actually overstated as a policy, idiotically overstated the political impact of the Scottish political entity, political establishment. As we have said long before this thing happened, the role in empire, the English empire, is still spread all over the so-called former empire. If you go to Calcutta in West Bengal, Kolkata, you will find hundreds and hundreds of monuments and buildings and structures named after Scottish names and legends, etc., etc. The same applies to other parts of the so-called former British Empire. Racistly, the Scottish National Party is as racist as the Scottish Labour Party, as the Scottish general population. As I said in a recent comment about Anas Sarwar's father. Anas Sarwar's father was the first Asian, if you like, MP to become an MP from Scotland. And he was hounded out by racists in Scotland, including racists in the SNP and racists in the Labour Party, of course, and racists elsewhere. I had a meeting, I'm trying to remember the actual decade, I think in the 1980s, I had a meeting with somebody from Scotland. And after the meeting in London, I had a series of phone calls with them. And that individual, claiming to be a socialist, claiming to be a left-winger, admitted to me that they were racist in their attitude towards me. Admitted. It's not something I was poking or I was probing. that individual actually admitted that they were racist towards me. So Scotland is very much a racist part of Europe, as is Ireland. And look at the banners in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland. Ireland is full. Now, Ireland is full, the banners going up there in the Republic of Ireland actually confirms my analysis of Rishi the moron, mental slave Sunak, as the sunk Sunak. He is now going to sink politically and more in the Irish Sea. He tries to get the people to Rwanda, and what do? People go missing in England. Half of the people so far who are scheduled to be deported to Rwanda have gone missing, according to the papers, on Tuesday, the 30th of April 2024, that I am reviewing or previewing or analyzing. The Sunak is an idiot, and Hamza Yusuf is an idiot. Of course, the idiocies differ, and the degrees of idiocies differ from idiots to idiots, but they're idiots. So what I'm saying is that the fact that Hamza Yusuf is of Palestinian Arab kind of origin makes the difference. The same case applies to Rishi Sunak, who is from the originally, whose father is from the Punjab, the area where the massacre by the British fascist General Dyer took place in Gujranwala area. And it makes a difference. Sunak actually doesn't even understand himself as an individual human being, because he says that he has never had a working class friend. How bizarre and stupid a confession. And yet these people are put in the post of leader of their respective parties, and by consequence as leader of the government of the state, or a little state, as in the case of Ireland, Scotland. There is no morality, there is no ethics, and there is absolutely no consideration in the policies for the environment, for the rights of ordinary people, for the holding of the post holders, position holders, decisions makers to account. Hamza Yusuf scrapping the deal with the Greens was his own idiocy and stupidity. As Tuesday, London morning, the Metro says, it's all his blame. Is all his blame. He of course came across as a human being, shedding tears as he announced his resignation from the post of First Minister and leader of the SNP. But he should never have scrapped the deal. And he should never have actually scrapped the policy of protecting the environment. Andrew Neil has been called the Brillo pad Neil. The Brillo pad is a reference to the weird hair style he has had. He has reconstructed his hair at great expense, paid for by the Daily Mail and the Scum and the BBC and so on. Andrew Neil became the focus of news, mainly in the private eye because of his oft published picture with an Asian woman, young Asian woman. And then he was in the news for weeks or months because of his relationship with a Sikh-born, S-I-K-H, Sikh-born prostitute, Pamela Bodes. The Baudet name is linked with Pamela's marriage, so-called, with a Frenchman. I think that is where the Baudet comes from. Now, Pamela Baudet was simultaneously sleeping with Andrew Brylopat Neal as well as Donald the Pixie Trelford. She called Donald Trelford the Pixie. It has been widely reported that the reference to Pixie was a reference to Donald Trelford's size of manhood, the genitals. Now, how immoral and how depraved the British media has been and the British political narratives have been. And then we go to Alex Salmond. Salmond said to Sophie, I think he said to a television reporter, I have to check the name of this reporter. It was either the Sky News Sophie or a BBC counterpart. I have to check that one before I confirm the name. So he told a television reporter during Monday, the 29th of April 2024, that Hamza Yusuf's rejection of a so-called offer from Alex Salmond founded Alba Party that was not true. The reason that Hamza Yusuf reportedly gave was not true. That is what Alex Salmond says. But Alex Salmond is actually more responsible for discrediting the modern Scottish movement for independence or autonomy, to use the phrase from the 1960s, East Pakistan. Because the Awami League in the 1960s was not talking about independence. It was talking about provincial autonomy for East Pakistan, as it then was in the 1960s. So what Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon, and before them Jim Sillars the moron, should have done about Scotland was to campaign for autonomy, which they have single-handedly, each one of them, has failed to do. That shows their idiocy, their lack of understanding of the empire and the role that the Scottish political establishment, the Scottish political narratives are still based on the British Empire. Hence we got a Scottish-born Andrew Brylopat Neal as collaborative with the English nationalist imperialists as George Galloway, the Git, as Michael Gove, the moron, and other dozens and dozens and dozens of Scottish-born morons. So we got absolutely no enlightenment from the Scottish nationalist movement. It shouldn't have been independent Scotland, because there is still a very strong force operating in Scotland that is subservient to English norms, English narratives, English superimposed racism, superimposed on the Scottish racism. The Irish are as racist as the Scots, and the Ireland is full, shows that despite the so-called Republicans' claims that Ireland is more radical and more enlightened than England, is exposed as a lie. Because before they actually made the banners, Ireland is full, they should have reflected on the international solidarity. But it appears that the international solidarity has been sunk in the Irish Sea as well. So this is in brief a very short kind of prelude into the longer narrative, longer commentary from the Khoodeelaar campaign on the impact of the SNP's collapse as the power, and the collapse really undermining of the cause for an independent Scotland. Because it is true that an independent Scotland will not happen even if a referendum takes place now, especially after the brazen, absolute, shameless, disgraceful events surrounding Alex Salmond raping more than one woman and getting away with it. And the husband, Marrell, husband of Nicholas Sturgeon, being involved in financial corruption and fraud while holding high offices in the SNP. This is not a minor issue, and yet these English racists are berating Hamza Yusuf. Hamza Yusuf hasn't committed any crime, hasn't done anything wrong. Tactically, he has played the fool. He has taken for granted a lot of people that he shouldn't have actually trusted in the way that he did trust. And the Greens have not covered themselves in glory by betraying the regime fronted by Hamza Yusuf. We shall be talking more about all of that in the future editions. I'm going to finish this particular brief introduction, and this bulletin is just over 16 minutes long, ending at 01:21 GMT on Tuesday, the 30th of April 2024.